or $90.
I can just see Maddie in the future just sleeping with a shotgun or
Tonight at 5:30, she struggles with it. You are encouraged to attend. If not, you are signed up.
Get it?
PreCalc meeting today. Y'all will review during your junior or senior with 355 or higher GPA, you're not already in the National Honor Society.
you just gotta be careful because
Check your email, fill out the application. Deadline to apply is October 5th. Seniors are like for seniors, if you're interested in serving on the page, you've got that information for a while. Deadline to apply for legislative page upcoming session. Airport recruiter will be here to come during lunch today as well. Direct the airport, stop by. Social standards what?
she didn't make us turn it.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I make it available. That's cool. And then when you start skating, you stop.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like bright orange.
Yeah.
The only reason I know what that is because of Lucas.
Yeah, it can't go any faster than like 40.
I wish it could
Yeah,
do it.
it's pretty cute.
And I just talked to him. What if I get it on my free blog?
Where's Nancy too? Where's Nancy too?
I watched the video and halfway through I was like, wait, I'm taking my house.
It's like 10 minutes for a problem. We all good? Okay. Running a little bit behind this morning. So, what we got here? Two radicals. What do we do? Square what? Okay. Just don't square like a freshman. Okay. Then, okay. So x plus 1 is 2x minus 11 plus 2 root of 2x minus 12. Everybody, come over here. So negative x plus 10 is, oh yeah, negative x plus 12 is 2 root of 2x minus 12. If you're going to square both sides, make sure. If you were to divide everything by negative 1 right now because you don't like the negative x, it's still going to have the exact same result. Just because negative squared is positive. Either way, x squared minus 24x plus 144 is 4 times the quantity, 2x minus 12, which is 8x minus 48. Bring those over and get x squared minus 32x plus 196. 196? Yeah, that is 2. All right. Factors of 192 that add up to 32. 24 and so 8. So if I have x minus 24, x minus 8 is 0, then x is both 24 and 8. But if I jam both of them in, 5, 25, 50, 48, 36, 6, 7. Yeah, we get 5 equals 7. That one's out. 8's good? Okay. Then, did we square both sides correctly? Did we isolate the second radical? Whether you had the 2 there or put it underneath as a denominator, doesn't matter. You would just have a quadratic that has a fraction in it. But then you would have multiplied by the fraction to not have fractions. So, however, you got the second radical isolated. Did you square that radical correctly? Did you solve the quadratic? Did you remember to check for extraneous solutions? Okay, so squared it right, did the quadratic. Isolating the radical was in the middle of there. And did you check the extraneous solutions? Any questions on there? Four, 8, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Do we really have a full house? We never have a full house. We usually got like 1 missing. Huh. Okay. So there's that. Skadoosh. Save. Oh wait, no, not there yet. Not there yet. I don't know that anyone asked anything. I don't remember anything, but then I don't remember a lot from the last 24 hours. Sleep deprivation. Baby bear started screaming at 4 this morning. So,
Yay.
anything from the homework before I go poking the buttons to find the homework? 65. 65 and 33. Okay. Wait, who? What psychopaths?
Like some people, if their child starts crying when they're in their room, like they just leave them, and like they're like, oh, when they stop crying, they'll fall asleep. You know?
That's what my friend said.
Yeah, it creates more psychopaths.
There is such a thing called cry it out, meaning self-soothing. You do have to teach that as a baby. Now, once they're 2.5, if they're screaming, you should probably go check on them.
I don't think my parents ever did.
So you're admitting to being...
I don't know what the definition of psychosis is. I think my parents did that when I was younger.
Definition of psychosis is you see and hear things that aren't there.
Like my fan. No, I'm just very sensitive to noise and stuff.
Well, that happens with a lot of neurodivergence. Autism, ADHD, bipolar, schizophrenia. Like, it's just the brain's wired differently, so you're going to experience that stuff that other people doesn't. So,
Are all psychopaths killers?
no, not even close.
So all killers are psychopaths.
Oh.
Not true.
It's so good.
Some are sociopaths. They literally just don't feel social obligation or morals. Like, I don't love... A sociopath doesn't logically see a reason that they need to follow society's rules. I heard 65. Thanks, Mom. Determine the degree of the polynomial, if it's odd or even, whether leading coefficient is positive or negative. Y'all are killing me with this. This is Algebra 2. Algebra 2 says... Oh, is this the wrong section? Oh.
I was gonna say, I was like,
Maybe you're actually in algebra.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's page 92.
Oh, I think I was on 2 too. Exactly. Come on, you.
oh, dude, I don't.
Yep, wrong one. Okay, spell review. Oh,
CIA for silver edition.
65. If it's to the 3/2 power, what do I do? To the 2/3? What's the cube root of 125? No. 5. 5 squared is 25. So I get 1 minus 4x is greater than or equal to 25. Subtract. Divide. Remember algebra half. Flip the inequality. X is less than or equal to -6. There is no plus or minus needed on this one because, look at the denominator. It was odd. I was going to do a cube root. Cube roots don't need plus or minus. Square roots, fourth roots, sixth roots, those need plus or minus. Now you do get a really interesting dilemma here if the denominator ends up, if I did this to the 2/3 instead. Say that was 1 minus 4x to the 2/3 is 25. Take both sides to the 3/2 power. Squared in 25 is 5. 5 squared is, or 5 cubed is 125. You'd have this 1 minus 4x is greater than or equal to plus or minus 125. You just have to do it twice. You split it. Yep. So, if it happens, just so you know. No, I just wanted to throw one inequality in there to just demonstrate, look, it's the same thing if it's an inequality, whether it's equals or not equal to. Still the same process. Is there?
And I, for some reason, don't have 76 done. I don't know if I was just exhausted and didn't do it, or if I don't know how to do it. So I guess we'll find out.
So we'll look at 76 and see what happened. 76 was the other monomial figure it out one. So it doesn't have the reciprocal business going on. So I know it's not over x to the n. This is just straight up y is a x to the n. I hate you, Frank. Okay, just based on its n behavior, is that n going to be odd or even? Right, because it begins and ends, its n behavior on both sides is the same. Okay, so I know it's going to be squared or to the fourth or to the sixth. I'm betting it's not squared because the vertex got a little more junk in the trunk. When you see a little more bow at the bottom, that means that it's a higher degree because it increases more sharply. So now maybe I just try for ax to the fourth and see what happens. How do I find a?
1 to the 2/3.
Right?
Because you go over 1 and up 2/3.
1 to any power should be 1, but this was 2/3. So I'm going to have 2/3, and I think it's to the fourth because it's got a little more junk in the trunk. How do I confirm that? I've got coordinates. So try 1/24. Is that actually equal to 2/3 times negative 1/2 to the fourth? You get, so what's that? 1/16, cancel, 1/24. Yeah, 3 and 8, yeah, 1/24. So, yay, it works. Now, if you didn't know exactly what that was, if you just had y is 2/3 x to the n, and then you plugged in 1/24 is 2/3 by negative 1/2 to the n. Does anyone remember how you get something out of exponent land? Got to go logging. Logs are super easy. Kids just don't like them because you have to swap the things and you sometimes go cross-eyed. Okay. Definition of logs is right there, right above Grace's head. In fact, chapter 3, we're going to turbo review that. It's super easy. If I have log base b of x is y, I'm saying b to this power makes this thing. That's it. So I would take the log of both sides. And now that n could come down as a coefficient. It's super fast, but maybe just don't remember it. So how do you solve something you have no friggin' idea how to solve?
Solution manual.
I would put one side in y1 and the other side in y2. I'd calculate the intersection. Which is why we don't show you that in Algebra 1, or else you would never, ever, ever do math. Any else? 33? Regression. You just forget how to do regression?
It's the main.
Is that calculate power regression.
I mean A. Okay, I got it. How do you hit A? Like instead of
Alpha A.
then 39 on calculator was being done, so I couldn't find the graphs. It's not like it was hard or anything, it's just my calculator said it doesn't matter.
Okay, sometimes people will just kind of give up on these because they have trouble typing it in, especially if you have an older calculator like a TI-83. You don't actually, well, you do have all of those features because it's a cube root, but if it was fourth root or fifth root, you'd kind of be hosed, unless you do the X root of, and then you got to hunt in the math menu for it and all that kind of stuff. Y'all, I can just turn that into negative 25x minus 7 to the what power? No, it's 2/3. It's always denominator is the index, numerator is the exponent, and then minus 49. You can always type it in like that. Okay. All right, so.
It just wasn't there. I typed it in like how it was written originally on the problem, and I typed it in how you wrote it just then. And it was just not happening.
What I see some kids do just by accident, I ran into this 3 times just yesterday, is they'll accidentally press the negative button instead of minus right there. Okay. I don't know. Things happen. Okay, well, I got to move my pile, and you got to get rid of all your devices. Try to put them all over in one area instead of like vomiting phones all over my counter. Yeah. Okay. Everything over there. Taylor, you want to hang out for this part or not? Okay. Well, it's open notes for the quiz, so I mean, if you just want to flex, go for it. But okay. 2, 3. Yeah, I've had kids do it before.
I actually went to bed at a reasonable time last night.
What I'm always scared of when I'm gonna say things are bad, and then I get like a 30 on the test. I don't think we get 30.
Everyone got one? You're all on the review side? Okay. Just because I have not been turning things in, or I've gotten all here, I just don't have it on campus. Just overhearing Andrew back there griping. I see 1, 2 out of the first 3 quizzes combined. So out of 60 total quizzes taken, there's only 2 that didn't pass. So no, you did not get a 30 on something. Okay. In fact, the majority of them are in the 24 to 30 range out of 30. So 80 to 100% are what the vast majority of all of our quizzes are. You guys are doing good. It's just life kicked me square in the nads, and I have not been able to put stuff into campus yet. Okay. Actually, it was the same person. So, okay. Starting with function operations. If I say take the this minus the that, I should be able to take the this minus the that. Womp, womp. The difference is you got to be careful about how you arrange it. Can I combine like terms? Can I simplify it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I will be cool with this for now. Do y'all remember taking this to get common denominators? You need common denominators to put it all over 1. So the whole honkin' thing over x minus 3 instead of 3 separate terms. Okay? If you do not remember that, it's been a long time, Algebra 1. I said we're moving that up to Algebra 2 this year. We're swapping some things around. We're going to review it next week, I think. So it's in section 2.5. So we have f minus g. X is just 1 over x minus 3 minus x squared plus 9. Domain. Who's not allowed to the party? Does it say state the restrictions or state the domain? So you got to write the whole thing out. Negative infinity to 3, can't touch a spare, and 3 to infinity. Okay, f over g. If I have f over g of x, that means we take the entire f rule. Wait a second. 1 over x minus 3 over x squared minus 9. Ew. Dividing by fractions is easy as pie.
What's this for 29? Don't that's so.
It's just a little thing from like elementary school on how to divide by fractions. Dividing by fractions is easy as pie. Flip the second and multiply. You use rhymes, mnemonic devices to help you remember things.
That's why we made a song for the quadratic
So
formula.
first fraction, other fraction, we divide the two.
So this is right now x squared minus 9 over 1. If I want to divide by it, then I have 1 over x minus 3 times flip the second and multiply.
I have a question.
Yo.
X squared minus 9 can factor, right?
Yes.
So do you want us to factor and cancel out x minus 3?
Look at what's in blue and yellow right now. Can you cancel anything? They're all on the denominator.
What did I do?
You assumed that x squared minus 9 and x minus 3 would be on numerator and denominator respectively.
My bad.
Sneaky, sneaky. Make sure you write it out the right way. Then disturbed, I have x to the third. What is this going to be? Plus 3x squared minus 3x squared. And minus 9x plus 27. Now that whole honkin' thing, that is just x minus 3, the quantity cubed. So we can also take that as an answer. Oh wait, no, this is plus or minus 3. Never mind.
Can't you combine like the first two pull out a 2 out?
Oh, I can factor it, but I don't want to factor it because parentheses implies there's still operations to be performed. If I'm simplifying it, I don't want parentheses. Okay, now who isn't allowed to the party though? Well, this one says x can't be 3. This one says x can't be plus or minus 3. So when I multiply those together, it's still going to be, you can't be plus or minus 3. My denominator now looks like x plus 3 times x minus 3 squared. There's 2 of those.
Or do you want us to?
What was that, the second?
I'd take that. Yeah, I'll take it.
Because that's way easier for writing domain.
Which is how we're going to do asymptotes in 2.5. So that's why I said yes. I'll take it. Yep. If you want to do that, go for it. All right. I'll take either.
So do we use those as our domain then?
Well, yeah, those are still not allowed. So your domain is still going to be negative infinity to negative 3. Can't touch it. Negative 3 to 3, and then again, can't touch that. And 3 to infinity. You have to exclude both of them. Remember, if you really, really want to, you could do that in set builder instead. All x's such that x does not equal plus or minus 3, where x is an element of the reals. I'll take both. It's just pretty sure that after talking about set builder notation in 1.1, I don't think our book has had set builder for anything. So, but I'll still take it because it's still right.
Solutions do.
They do? Oh. Well, be dang diddly darn. Okay, find Fog and Goff. F of G, G of F. If I have F of a thing, that's 1 over the thing minus 3. So if I'm taking F of G, I'm just writing it over here because, yeah, right. That's the entire x squared minus 9. When I simplify it, it's just 1 over x squared minus 12. If I was asking for the domain of that, what would it be? Plus or minus square root of 12, but I would want to simplify it. 2 square root of 3. Okay? Or those are the restrictions, and then you write the whole thing out. Goff, G of F. G says take a thing and square it minus 9. That thing is going to be the entire F rule, which is 1 over x minus 3.
Do we have to find the domains for these ones?
No. If I square a fraction, it's the same as just square both parts. Don't square like a freshman. 1 over x squared minus 6x plus 9 minus 9. Do not somehow try to combine that plus 9 on the denominator with the minus 9 over here as a constant. Okay, they're separate. Unless you want to do this. He started writing more. No. So technically you'd have negative 9x squared plus 54x minus 9 plus 1 minus 8 over x squared minus 6x plus 9.
Wait. What?
Common denominators.
No, wouldn't it be negative 81?
81? What? Oh, that's a 9 and a 9. minus 81 plus 1 is minus 80. There we go. Stop it!
What if they just cancel out? Isn't that like 2? I thought it was 80.
Wouldn't what cancel out?
Isn't it 80? It's 81, isn't it? And not 80.
And then plus 1.
Oh. Okay.
Like, if you wanted to combine them over a single denominator, you can. I'll just take purple. So, orange and purple, both correct. Most kids do. Oh!
And
F of G of 5. Option 1. Jam 5 in here. 5 squared is 25. 25 minus 9 is 16. Put the 16 in here. 1 over 13. Or, now that I have the F of G rule, I could just put 5 here. 25 minus 12, 13. Either way, you end up with 1 over 13. I don't care which way you do it. Just got to do it. Okay. Find the inverse of the function and its domain. So I replace f of x with y, and then I will swap my x and y and call it x is square root of 4y minus 8 minus 6. Get y all by his lonesome. We add 6. Square both sides, but not like a freshman. Add 8. Wait, no, yellow. X squared plus 12x plus 44. And divide everything by 4. Call it x squared over 4. 12 over 4 is 3x. 44 over 4 is 11. Finish it off with function notation. The inverse function of x is 1/4 x squared plus 3x plus 11. I switched to that just because it's usually how we see our parabolas, with a x squared. Domain. If I was looking at only the end product, I'd say, well, it's parabola. Parabolas are all real numbers. Go back to the original and find out, well, what's the domain of this dude? Okay, remember you set the radicand equal to 0. 4x minus 8 is 0. 8. So I'm allowed to put 2 in there, because I can take the square root of 0, and everything bigger than that. So the domain is going to be 2 to infinity. The range, what happens when I put that 2 in there? You get 0 minus 6, and it's only going to go up from there. So the range is -6 to infinity. So when I go and find my inverse, I have to swap my domain and range. I really, really recommend that you go to the original and find its domain and range, even if it's redundant, just to be sure. Okay. Crack dealer charges $50 for service call, $40 an hour for labor. Write this as a function, find its inverse, describe what it means in the context. That's a reasonable plumber. It's ridiculous. In fact, this time of year when people are turning on their furnaces for the first times and they haven't performed basic maintenance on it, like keeping dust free from sensors or checking the pilot light, there's a whole bunch of people that are going to be calling a HVAC tech over there And they're going to charge them like $60, $100 to just come out there, and then $60 an hour. And it was literally to open it up, follow the instructions, clean this off, relight the pilot light. They're done in 10 minutes. $160, please.
They would stretch it out an hour over 60 hours.
Oh, they don't stretch it out. You get charged no matter what. Now they might stretch it to an hour and 10 minutes so they can charge you for 2.
We had our laptops, the things set on like somehow they control the system. So anytime you wanted to change anything, there's $100. Because they had to come to your house to like change it.
It just sounds like extortion, but okay. A plumber charges $50 for a service call. You get charged $50 no matter what. $40 an hour for labor. Okay. So before I move anywhere else over here, how about we say, what are x and f of x in this problem? F of x is the total cost of the service call. X is going to be the hours of the service call. Okay. So if I go and find my inverse, I need to make sure that I also write my inverted labels. X minus 50 over 40. And we'll say, now I have the cost of the service call, how many hours were spent on it. Okay, you just got to swap them. One thing to be careful about with inverses, if you're ever doing an inverse of a formula, you don't actually, like a formula, where each variable represents something specific, like height and time. You don't actually swap the variables because now you have time meaning height and height meaning time. And it gets kind of weird. So, here's a word problem example for that in Algebra 2. Just thinking of it now. Graph it! Describe domain, range, intercepts, end behavior, all the stuff. I'm going to write the things while you press the buttons. Do you know what this graph looks like? Three 3/16, so still really small.
Do we have to have actual like points on it?
I would say the points you should have should probably be those ones because they're integers. Because it's 3 over x to the fourth.
I know, I graphed it on my calculator.
Oh. Whenever you have a reciprocal where n, the degree, is even, it's going to be a butt crack. If it's odd, they're going to be opposite. Okay. So when in doubt, dump it in your calculator. Plot by points. And then tell me stuff. Domain. to 0. 0 to infinity. Okay, got to remember the butt crack. What about range? 0 to infinity, parenthesis or bracket, because we don't actually hit 0. And since 0 was excluded from both domain and range, there is no x or y intercept. As I go to both negative and positive infinity, it's going to curl along that x-axis forever. So approaches 0. If you want to say approaches plus or minus infinity, it equals 0. That's cool because they go to the same place. Continuity. Infinite butt crack.
Right.
Like, that's actually why we used to call the plumber the crack dealer. Because he butt crack. Yeah. Increase this way, decrease that way. Negative infinity to 0, 0 to infinity. I didn't write it, so no. But what is it symmetric to? Y-axis. Okay. So we don't actually have to write it, but meh. And finally, hey, there it is again. If I got double radical, make sure you square both sides. Don't square it like a freshman. We say x minus 10 is 16 minus 8, root of 2x minus 24 plus 2x minus 24. Are we all okay with that whole square it, multiply, and double trick? Like, we've been trying to show you that since Algebra 1, but most kids were just stubborn and decided to foil with arrows regardless. But then, combine like terms. 16 minus 24 is negative 8. Negative 8. I've got a plus 2x, a minus 8, root of 2x minus 24. Multiply and double. Oh. Because it was always 1 in the radical. Yep. Move the non-radical stuff over here. We'll have a minus 2 and a negative x. Negative 8, root of 2x minus 24. If I square it just like this, it's no different than if I multiplied everything by a negative and then squared it. It's going to be the same answer no matter what. So we'll have x squared plus 4x plus 4 is, careful, 64 times the quantity, 2x minus 24. Square the outside, square the inside. Disturbert. Huh. 256, 6, 1200, 300, 1500, 1530? Damn. So close. Everyone to one side of the bus. X squared minus 124x plus 1540. Ew. So either you're really good with factors, or you head to quadratic formula.
I didn't even think about that one.
It is a quadratic. Or complete the square. Most kids don't. I-124. 110 and 14.
That's an awful number.
It's 110 and 14, just to save us time.
It's called 110.
What we need to do is 110 and 14.
Yep. And then solve. And we think x is 110 and 14. But we got 110 minus 10 is 100. Square root of 100 is 10. 110 by 2 is 220. 220 minus 24 is 196. Square root of 196 is 14. 4 minus 14 is a negative 10. So that's out. 14 minus 10 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. 14 by 2 is 28. 28 minus 24 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. Checks out.
I hope that one's not like that on the other side.
It's gonna be harder.
Yeah, it's gonna be worse.
Okay. Reminder, when you're done, do not fill up my counter with stuff because I've got literally 87 notebooks to go through today. You know what? Actually, let's just make room. When you are done, quiz in basket, pile of notes and assignments and daily quizzes next to basket. Cool? You got a lot of time for 6 problems.
Do we need to put our one?
Yes, because we were in the chapter 1 and 2 packets for this quiz.
Is there any chance you'll have this stuff?
Oh, the quiz. Oh, I thought you meant the quiz, not the notebooks. I hope. If you need it for later, then just tell me and I'll do yours first.
Mr. Sullivan,
Okay.
I'm gonna need my notebook.
Okay. If you need your notebook after lunch, leave your notebook over here instead.